Hey, it's Doug Murray, principal of Chardon High School. I know things have been real crazy this year with COVID-19 and all the restrictions and all the changes, and this presentation is different also. We've been asked to do it digitally and create this video for you to help you in the scheduling process. In today's video, you are going to be hearing from guidance counselors who are going to talk to you about not only the graduation requirements, but also the process for using Infinite Campus of how to select your courses and all different eligibilities. Later on in your presentation, you're going to hear from other counselors that are going to talk to you specifically about your courses for your grade level. Appreciate you. I wish we could do this in person, and know that I'm always there for you. If you ever need a touch base, come on and down and see Mr. Bandera, Mr. Heim, myself, and we'll help you through this process or just help you in general. And without further ado, here's Mrs. Hetrick.
Mrs. Hetrick, and I'm one of the guidance counselors here. We want to welcome you to the 21-22 scheduling presentation. We're going to talk about several things that you need to know before you make your course selections for next year and get you ready to register online for courses. So Mr. Hurlbut and I are going to be talking for a few minutes here about the general things that you need to know as far as the scheduling process and what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks. So first of all, the curriculum night presentation on February 11th is posted on the guidance page of the website, and it's available in Week in Reflection. And that presentation is going to talk about all of the curriculum courses. It's going to describe the departments, the electives in the departments. The program of studies is also available to you through Week in Reflection and through the guidance page of the website. And if you really want a print copy of the program of studies, we can also print you a copy. So there's plenty of ways to get the information that you need to get from us. So even though we're doing these presentations virtually, there are plenty of resources. And with students back in the building 100% of the time now, you can certainly come down to guidance at any given time and talk to myself, Mr. Hurlbut, Mr. Kovach, and Mrs. Tupaz, and we'll answer your questions anytime. So I'm going to start off with a quick overview as far as what you need to know. This is the same for every student at every grade level as far as graduation requirements. And you can see on the screen that I have in front that you need 4 English credits, 4 math credits, including an Algebra 2, 3 science credits, and then in social studies you need 3 total credits, but you need 1 world history, 1 U.S. history, and 1 government credit. Health, you need 1 half credit to graduate, and that's a semester. And then in phys ed, you need a half credit or 2 semesters of phys ed, because each semester of phys ed is worth a quarter credit. Or if you are in a sport, marching band, cheerleading, you can also use the PE waiver, but you must have 2 seasons of whatever that is. You can mix and match a sport. You could participate in volleyball and track and have 2 seasons. Or you could participate in volleyball 2 years in a row and have your 2 seasons. But it does have to be 2 seasons in order to use the PE waiver. So I'm going to switch over here next to honors diploma requirements, because a lot of you are often asking about that. It's a little more stringent as far as honors diploma, but it does also include the graduation requirements, just plus a little bit more. And then I'm also, along with this, because these honors diploma requirements also tie into what the colleges recommend. So I'm going to kind of address both here at the same time. So first of all, the colleges really expect to see you take 4 years in all of your core subjects. They want to see at least 1 fine art, and you can see that on the screen here for honors diploma. They want to see at least 2 to 3 years of a world language as well. And so if you kind of run through and you see on my screen, 4 credits of English, 4 credits of math, 4 credits of science for honors diploma, 4 credits in social studies, 3 credits of a world language, 1 credit in fine arts, and then either a 3.5 cumulative GPA or a 27 on an ACT or a 1280 on an SAT. And I noticed this screen here says chemistry and physics. Now we have so many lab sciences, there are exceptions to the chemistry and physics, and the AP Bio would count also, the AP Environmental would also count for that as well. But these pretty much do mirror what the colleges want to see you graduate with as well. So if you're college bound, as far as the courses go, we're always going to push you to take a 4th year and continue in all these courses each year. And that's a topic, if you on any given year are working towards an honors diploma, we want to make sure that you are talking with us and that we're not only monitoring your graduation progress, but we're also monitoring your progress towards your honors diploma. So ask us, talk to us. We obviously are going to be back on track this year. Once the scheduling process, once we get further in the process, we're going to meet with everybody this year. Last year was a unique situation with being at home that we really didn't get an opportunity to meet with every student. But we will meet with you this year to go over scheduling requests and talk about your courses as well. And again, I can't reiterate enough, stop down and talk to us anytime. All right, eligibility. There's a change here, and we want to make sure that you're paying attention to this. And this also goes into your scheduling considerations because you need to make sure you have enough courses, and you need to be aware that the GPA has changed. So at any given time, in order to be eligible, so in other words, 4th quarter of this year, if you want to be eligible for 1st quarter of next year, you have to be in 5 full value courses. You cannot have any Fs. And here's the big change. You must earn a GPA of a 2.0 in the quarter the previous quarter. So if you want to be eligible for fall, 4th quarter of this year, you cannot have any Fs. You must have at least a 2.0. You must be in your 5 full value classes. So that's very important to keep in mind. That's a significant change moving forward with eligibility. And we're going to be monitoring that as closely as we can, but you have to be responsible for paying attention to that as well. You need to always know how many classes you're in. You have to be in 5 classes the previous quarter in order to be eligible, and you have to be in 5 classes when you are participating in any activity. Keep in mind, this also applies not only to sports, but it applies to all activities that you might be involved in. Again, if you have questions, make sure you're asking us. You can email us at any time, stop down. As you notice, I'm going to say that over and over and over again because it's very important that we communicate.
The actual process of the online scheduling. So as we've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years, the scheduling process is going to be done entirely online through Infinite Campus for all of our students except for the 7th graders moving up to the high school. So the way that this works, and you're going to see on the screens coming up in just a moment, that students are going to need to log into their Infinite Campus account. They're going to click on the course registration tab. That course registration tab is going to be found under the More tab, which is located at the very bottom on the left-hand side of your Infinite Campus account. From there, students are going to search for the courses that they're interested in, and then they're going to add them to their course request. So I'm going to move to the next screen, and so you can kind of have a better understanding of what this looks like. So as you can see, this is a sample of what a student's Infinite Campus account will look like. Once they find that More located at the bottom, they're going to see a tab that says Course Registration. From there, that is where they're going to pick and choose what courses they want to take next year. Teachers will have already recommended the core courses for these students. This is your English, math, science, social studies, and world language. The teachers actually do the recommendations or the registration for those students. The big question is, well, what if the teacher recommended something that's different from what I want? For example, maybe you are interested in the honors and the teacher did not recommend you, or you're not interested in the honors and the teacher recommended you for it. So what is that process? So the first step when you see that is going to have to do with talking with your teacher. After you've talked to the teacher, and I'm going to get to another screen in just a moment. Actually, let's just skip right there. So that override process. So after you have spoken with your teacher in regards to that required course that you see in Infinite Campus, you need to have a conversation about them about whether you feel you're okay with it and what you want to do. The teacher can then go in and change that recommendation, or they can just choose to stick with their recommendation. The teacher has the right to do either one of them. They're really trying to put you in the best position to be successful. However, if you still disagree with whatever recommendation the teacher put in Infinite Campus for those core courses, after you've had that conversation, you're allowed to do one of these recommendation override forms. This is exactly what it looks like on the screen right now. These paper override forms are available in guidance. Stop on down and pick one up. You're going to need to essentially let us know what you were recommended for, let us know what you would rather have, and have a parent sign off on it. The reason we have a parent sign off on it as well is, again, as a teacher, they're doing their job to try to put the student in the best position to be successful using the information they had. But again, we understand that it's not always exactly what the students really want to do. So there is a process for you to kind of override what that teacher has put in there. So as I mentioned back on this screen, when a student logs into Infinite Campus, they're going to see the required courses that the teachers put in. Your job as a student is to pick requested and alternate courses. You will search for these courses based upon the title of the course. All the students are going to be given these registration forms, and it's going to have a list of the courses that are available. It's going to have some scheduling things on the back. Those will be distributed in about a week to each class. You'll search a course by the name of the class. So if you, for instance, if you're interested in pottery, you're going to start typing in POTT, hit enter, and eventually the course is going to pop up, as well as a description of the course so you have a better understanding about what that course is about. You need to make sure that you've requested a minimum of 6 credits of classes, and this includes what your teachers have recommended. Once you have those 6 classes, that's 6 classes in one study hall, you also need to make sure you have an alternate course or 2 listed, especially if you are a junior or a senior when it comes to your English literature. I'm going to talk about that on the very last screen. But please make sure you have at least 1, if not 2, alternate electives picked. We do the best we can to get you in the courses you want, but it's not always possible. Talked about the override, and then some final scheduling considerations. And let's move me. So things that you need to ask yourself. 1, do I have 6 credits of classes? 2, do I have at least 1, if not 2, alternate courses listed? You'll see the note there about juniors and seniors. Juniors and seniors, you must request an English literature option, and you need to have at least 1 alternate literature option with the examples you'll see right there. 3rd, did I request a CCP class? It's a different process if you're looking at doing College Credit Plus, and you need to make sure that you're following that process. You need to be accepted into these CCP courses by the end of the year in order to stay in those classes and take them. And lastly, think about your PE waiver. Did you turn one in? If not, are you taking your phys ed, or have you done your phys ed? Those are typical things that we tell students to really consider. And as Ms. Hetrick said multiple times, please stop down and see us if you have any questions or concerns in regards to this process. Please do not be one of the 200 plus students that we have to track down to pick their courses. This is one of the few opportunities you get to really dictate what classes you're going to take next year. And if you hold off and you don't do that process in a timely fashion, you might not have a seat available in the elective you want. So it's very important that you're doing this scheduling process right away when it opens up in about 1 week for you guys, okay? Lastly, this is just the counselor information. Please reach out to us. Parents, if you have questions, email us. Students, stop down and see us. We are more than happy to answer any questions in regards to the scheduling process. Look forward to hearing from you guys, and look forward to everybody getting their courses in the Infinite Campus as soon as that window opens up on the 19th.
You're going to also hear next from Mr. Kovac and Mrs. Tupaz a little bit for each grade level. So they're going to talk specifically about scheduling for your ninth grade courses if you're an eighth grader. So you will hear that portion next in this video. And we're going to sign off, and hopefully we'll see you in our offices soon.
Hello, my name is Kyle Kovach. I am one of the school counselors at the high school. I am the counselor for grades 8 through 12, letters P through Z. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the 12th grade scheduling presentation and hopefully answer any and all questions you have. If by chance after this presentation, one of your questions were answered, I forgot to answer something, feel free to stop down, have a conversation with me, or email. You could also talk to the other school counselors, Mr. Hurlbutt, Mrs. Hetrick, or Mrs. Tupass. We'll all happily help you. So the first thing we're going to cover are your required courses. So as seniors, there are some required courses you have to take, but some of you guys could have possibly completed your requirements for graduation unless you're going for an honors diploma, which most of you guys, if you have any questions along those lines, make sure you talk to your school counselor. Some required courses. So overall, pretty much our core classes are required. You're going to have to take an English next year unless you already took 4 years of it. You're going to have to take a math next year unless you took 4 years of it. If you haven't taken your third science, or if you're going for an honors diploma, you will have to take that. And a social studies unless you took 3 years of it, or you're going for an honors diploma. And your required courses, the majority of these courses you'll actually be recommended for, as you know, because this is your 12th grade, you've dealt with this for a while, by your current teachers in these subjects. So if you have any questions, please have a conversation with them about future options for classes, what they're going to recommend, or what they think would be best for you, because as you know, they know better than anybody because they have you in class in these specific subjects. So please have a conversation, see what they like to do. You have a lot of options in all of these subject areas, so make sure you pick the best option for you and reach out to your teachers for some help before they just recommend you. Also, if you're a senior, make sure you have already completed health and your physical education requirement. The state of Ohio says to graduate, you need to have a half a credit of health, which is 1 health class, and a half a credit of physical education, which is actually 2 PE classes. Because as many of you might know, each PE class or physical education class is a quarter credit. So you need to take 2 quarter credits to get your half credit. Some of you guys might have had a PE waiver because you play a sport, because you're in the band or other activity. So make sure you either have a PE waiver, you completed your physical education requirements, and you've already taken your health. Because no matter what your GPA is, how many credits you have, even if it's over 20, if you don't take health and PE, you will not graduate. So make sure you check into those. Okay. Looking at your course selection sheet. So here you're going to get a sheet that's actually purple. It looks like this. It's going to have all the choices you have for electives and different classes you could take. It's going to be this exact sheet that is showing on your screen. As you can see, there's a lot of options for you, whether you're talking social studies, whether you're talking science. You also have a lot of English electives. You also have a lot of English lit courses, and we'll talk about those a little more moving forward, and your math courses. So we have a lot of options. Make sure you review your sheet, look at the program of studies, talk to your teachers, and make sure if you have any other questions, talk to your counselors to make sure you're on pace for graduation, an honors diploma, and make sure you're put in the right area. Okay, so moving forward. So English has changed a little bit this school year. So if you're a junior or senior, and you guys are seniors listening to this, how you pick your courses is different than last year. You used to pick 1 lit and a bunch of literature courses, and you could choose, and they'll put you in, and based on what you want to take, that kind of was condensed a little bit. And you could used to be changing teachers around, and I know some people like to stay with teachers or wanted to move teachers, so we made it a little simpler for you. So this slide kind of explains everything. So you'll take 1 semester of English writing will be scheduled for you based upon your grade level. So that's where the teacher recommendation. So your junior English teacher is going to recommend you for whatever English class you will be taking, meaning English writing. So if that's an AP course, if that's an honors course, they'll recommend that. Make sure you have a conversation with them before they recommend it to make sure you're where you want to be. What you'll have to do is you'll have to pick your literature course. Okay, there's going to be 3 options for you. It's actually right here. Here are your 3 options. What you're going to do is we need you to pick one as your elective course, meaning that's the one you want to take. That's the best one. Look on the program of studies, talk to your teachers. You could talk to your counselors about which one suits you. This is your choice to try to pick what literature you are most interested in and would like to read and learn from. Okay. We also want you to pick one alternate course. What that means is, just in case we can't get you into your first elective, maybe it's full, maybe we can't run as many sections of it, we want your second best option so we can get you into something you want to take. Otherwise, we'll have to pick that literature course for you. We don't want to do that. We want you to take a class you want to take and you're interested in. Explaining this further, you will have the same teacher all year for both writing and literature. So I know our schedule was changing where you would have Mrs. Bernacki for one, and you have Mrs. Weaver for another course. That's not how it's going to be. Whoever you have for writing is the same person you're going to have for literature. So make sure you choose your options, your elective, choose an alternate, and you're going to be in that course, that same teacher in both of those classes all year long, okay? And make sure you choose wisely, as we'll be not changing selections once school begins. So once your schedule's locked in, we can't change it. So make sure you make the best choice on the elective you want and the best choice on the alternate course you want, because once it starts, we can't change it just because we can't have schedules moving around that much. And if you have any questions on course descriptions, they are all listed in depth in the program of studies. Also, you could talk to your English teachers about those. Hello, my name is Kyle Kovach. I'm one of the school counselors at the high school. I am the counselor for grades 8 through 12, letters P through Z. So what we're going to do here is, in this video, I'm going to cover all the topics 10th graders need to know about scheduling. Hopefully I answer any and all questions you have. If by chance I don't answer a question, or you have another question I didn't touch base on, feel free to reach out to me, Mrs. Hetrick, Mr. Hurlbutt, or Mrs. Tupaz. We'll be happy to help you with anything you need. What we're going to cover first are required courses you have to take next school year. So next school year as sophomores, you're going to have to take an English, math, science, and social studies. You will actually not have to register for these courses. These will be recommended for you by your current teachers in each of these subject areas. If you have any questions about these, please have a conversation with your teachers. They would love to talk about what you should be recommended for, because your teachers do know best and they want what's best for you, and they know better than anybody what you'll need moving forward. Okay, so if you look at your course list, so in the coming days, you're actually going to receive a scheduling sheet. And on the scheduling sheet on the back, these are all the courses you could possibly sign up for. Some are electives, some are those core subjects, and some are these subjects that your current teacher is going to recommend for you. Okay, so some of the courses you will be recommended for by your teacher. So here are some of the courses you could take next school year. So as 10th graders, some might take Algebra 1. Most of you will be in geometry or geometry honors if you're already in Algebra 1 honors. You could take Algebra 2 if you're currently in geometry, or you could be in Algebra 2 honors if you're currently in geometry honors. So talk to your teacher about what they believe is the next best step for you moving forward. In English, here's the two choices you will have. You're in English 1 right now. If you're in English 1 college prep right now, you'll be recommended for English 2 college prep. If you're in English 2 honors, you'll be recommended for English 3 honors. Of course, have a conversation with your teacher to see what they're going to recommend moving forward. For science, these are the recommendations that you will have. Most students are actually in physical science. If you're in physical science, you'll be recommended for biology. You could be recommended for biology honors. If you are in biology or biology honors this year, you could be recommended for chemistry or chemistry honors. Like I said, have this conversation with your teachers and see what's best for you. If you're in modern world history, you'll be recommended for 20th century U.S. history or 20th century U.S. history honors. I know I said it several times, but please have a conversation with your teacher. See what they think so they could put you in the best opportunity for you to be successful next school year. Point 5 for you, health and physical education. Most of you probably already completed your health and PE requirement. If you have not, please make sure you sign up for health or PE as an elective. Okay, the state of Ohio explains that you're required to complete a half credit of health and a half credit of physical education to graduate. Doesn't matter what your GPA is, how many credits you have to complete these 2 courses to be able to graduate. Many of you probably already took health going back from 8th grade or this year. Some of you may have already completed your physical education requirement, or you got a PE waiver because you play a sport or you're in the band or other extracurricular activities. If you did not take physical education yet and you aren't going to get a PE waiver, I highly recommend, as do the other counselors, that you sign up for physical education. You have to get a half a credit of physical education to graduate. Each physical education course is a quarter credit, meaning 0.25. Okay, you have to get 0.5, meaning a half credit to graduate. So you actually have to take 2 PE classes in order to graduate. If you haven't done so, or if you haven't taken a PE class yet, I would definitely sign up for that this school year, because as you get older, it is harder and harder to fit this in your schedule with all the courses you will want to take. Next, when you start looking at your electives and the sheet that you're looking at, and right before you start picking classes you want to take as electives, here's some things we want you to think about. First, students are expected to enroll in a minimum of 6 classes per semester. What that means is when you look at your schedule, you should sign up for enough courses that you have at least 6 whole periods full. If that means a combination of full credit electives or half credit electives, however you want to do that, you need to have 6 periods full. Why we say 6 is because we recommend every student to have a study hall in their schedule, whether that could be for completing homework, getting tutoring, socializing, just getting a break from class to change up your day. We highly recommend that. Do you have to take a study hall? No. If you choose and your parents choose that you want to take 7 classes, you could do that. But we highly recommend you have at least 6 classes and you have a study hall. 2, students are required to enroll in a minimum of 5 full value courses. What that means is you're expected to have 6, but you absolutely have to have 5 full value courses, meaning you have to have 5 of your 7 periods full. Okay, there's many reasons behind this. First, this keeps you on track for graduation, and that's the ultimate goal. So you need 20 credits to graduate, 5 classes per year. You could do the math. 5 times 4 equals 20. Some of you guys might be ahead of that. Regardless, we want you in 5 classes. Also, if you play a sport, you're in the band, you're thinking about being involved in any extracurricular activity, you need 5 full value courses to be eligible. And when I say 5 full value courses, you can't have your 4 core courses, English, math, science, and social studies, and PE. That won't count. PE won't count for this. So make sure you have 5 full value courses so you can stay eligible. Even if you're not thinking about participating in a sport or an extracurricular, we like to have it just in case you change your mind, so you have that those 5 classes to be eligible. Next, pick electives based upon potential career interest. I know it's easy to pick electives based on what your friends are taking or what you think's easy or what teacher it has, and those are things people always think about, I understand, but we want you to pick courses based on what you want to do in the future. That's our job, is to make sure you're successful, not only in high school, not only in college, but when you're an adult and have a job. So try to pick these electives based on jobs you might want to have and also things that interest you. Okay. 4, pick at least 2 alternate, meaning backup courses to allow for scheduling conflicts and flexibility. Okay, what this means is you're going to pick an elective. That means that's your first choice as a course you want to take besides your core subjects. Okay, it's not a perfect world. As we know, this year, a lot of things change. Okay, sometimes the electives you choose might be offered only certain periods in the day, and that might be when you have your math class you need to take, and we can't fit certain classes in your schedule. The alternates are your backup courses, so we could fit in your schedule just in case your first elective does not fit, or maybe an elective is not, we don't run that elective for some reason. We have a backup course. So the best way to think about it is your elective is that first elective you want to take. That's your number 1 choice. The 2 alternate courses are your second choice. If you can't get into your electives, these are the courses you're going to want to take instead. The main reason we do this is we want to make sure you get a schedule that fits your career interests and fits what you want to take. If you don't pick alternate courses and we can't get you in your electives, basically you're going to have to pick a course, and some courses might be full or we can't fit in your schedule, and basically the choices you have are going to be very slim, and we're going to have to put you in the course to make sure you have 5 courses and 6, because that's what we expect out of you. So make sure you pick those alternate courses. Next, if you're thinking about going to college, here's some ideas. I know it seems like it's so far, but some ideas to think about. If you're thinking about going to college, plan on taking the English, math, science, and social studies all 4 years in high school. I know you're going to be taking those courses anyways, so we'll not go too in depth, but moving forward, think about taking those. So when you get to college, you probably have to take these subjects again, so you can kind of keep your tools sharp so you're successful moving forward. Think about taking advanced placement, honors, or CCP courses. Those CCP stands for those are college courses. We offer some in-house with Mr. Herner, for example, and the business, or we offer some at Lakeland. We tell people to think about taking these courses because they challenge you more, which means you're going to be better off in the end. So once you get to college, you'll be more successful. Have conversations with your current teachers to see if one of these courses might be suitable for you. 3, take at least 2 to 3 years of a foreign language. Why we say to do this is some colleges may require a foreign language. Many do not, but some colleges, we like to say, expect a foreign language, meaning this could be the determining factor if you get into the school or not. So make sure, if you didn't take a Spanish or a French yet, maybe you think about taking it this year if you're thinking about going to college. That might be a good route to take. 4, think about taking a fine art course, like a visual art, music, drama, something along those lines. The reason being is if you're thinking about going to a school like Hiram, where I went, it was a liberal arts school. I had to take a fine art course in order to graduate. That was a requirement. So try to take a fine art course now, so when you get to college, it's not the first time you ever took a course like that. 5 and 6 kind of go together. Try to select electives related to your future career and educational plans. Okay, so when you pick these courses, we kind of touch base on it. Try to pick a course that you might want to do this field or this subject in the future. So, for example, if you're thinking about going into the medical field, maybe you think about taking some science electives. If you think about being a writer, maybe you take more English electives. So try to pick electives based on what you might want to do in the future and your overall interest. 6, have an in-depth learning in an area. What that means is similar to 5. If you're thinking about going to the medical field, think about science electives. If you're thinking about going to be a history teacher, think about social studies electives. So try to pick an area where you get as most knowledge you can. So when you go into your career or college, you're more successful. So if you're thinking about going to Auburn Career Center, you should apply in your 10th grade year. So some things that you should probably think about is make sure you prepare by completing health and PE requirements before the end of the sophomore year and keeping your grades up, because the application process, what they look at is they want to make sure that you have all of your electives and all of your core subjects done, you're on path to graduate, and the health and the PE is a big component of that. So you want to get all that done because you're actually going to only be in school 3 periods a day, and that'll be your English, math, science, or social studies, depending on the year. So you want to make sure that you sign up and you have all of your requirements done before you apply. Next, if you're planning on taking CCP courses, make sure you follow these 4 steps. First, watch the recorded high school CCP information session. Okay, Mrs. Hetrick and Mr. Hurlbut did a fantastic job on that, so make sure you watch that. It goes a little more in depth than we're going to go over now, what you need to do, what's offered. Step 2, complete an intent form by April 1st. Okay, that's in the guidance office or on our website. That basically helps us in the guidance department know what you're planning on doing. So if you're planning on going to Lakeland next year, if you're planning on taking Mr. Herner's business class, that's in-house, taught by him, we understand what you're doing. Step 3, complete the CCP application and request transcripts from the high school to be sent to the schools you wish to apply to by their specific deadline. So if you're planning to, for example, if you're planning on taking Mr. Herner, make sure you actually go on the CCP site at Lakeland, register, apply, request your transcripts so we could send those to Lakeland so you could actually be admitted to the program. And step 4, this is by far the most important thing. If needed, register for the AccuPlacer placement exam. What this test actually does is it tests if you're going to be successful in a college level course. So you're going to take this placement exam. You have to get a certain score or you can't take CCP courses. I would recommend you take this test as quickly as you can. You could register for it now, next week, over the summer. You could take this test multiple times. You need to get a certain score so you could take your CCP classes. And last but not least, if you're planning on taking CCP courses, that's great. You're getting ahead of the game. I'm very proud of you. But still, make sure you complete the CHS schedule selections form. So even if you're planning on taking a full schedule of CCP courses, you're not planning on stepping foot in the building, that's fine. What we need you to do is we need you to also fill out the CHS schedule. So just in case you change your mind in the summer, you're like, you know what? I don't want to take these CCP classes. I want to go to Chardon and have a traditional high school experience. That's great. But the issue is if you don't fill out the scheduling form for CHS classes, you won't have a schedule in the system, which means we'll have to build a schedule for you later on. And like I said, a lot of classes fill up and we won't be able to get you into classes that will benefit you or classes you want. So even if you're planning on doing CCP and you're going to go through these steps to take CCP courses, make sure you fill out the CHS scheduling sheet. I won't talk too much on this, but if you're planning on getting an honors diploma, make sure you follow these requirements. Start thinking about these as you're scheduling classes. So make sure you're going on the path to have 4 credits of English, 4 credits of math, 4 credits of science, 4 credits of social studies. You'll be in these courses regardless, but if you haven't taken a foreign language, make sure you get on that now. You need 3 credits of that for an honors diploma. You need to have 1 fine art credit. So think about taking a foreign language as an art, maybe as an elective. You need a 3.5 GPA or higher. So if your GPA is around there, make sure you take classes that you're interested in so you can get the GPA up. And in the future, you'll have to get a 27 on your ACT. And last but not least, course registration dates. These are the dates you need to know. Like I said, you're going to get a course registration sheet. Basically, what that means is it's a course list of all the classes you could possibly take. You should be getting that in the coming days. Once you get that sheet, go over it. Talk to teachers, talk to your parents, come down and talk to the counselors about what you're thinking about taking. Look at the program of studies that kind of highlights what these classes are and what's going to be in the classes, and try to find classes that suit your personality, future career options that you want, and have to do with your interest. Once you try to make those final determinations, the course registration will open Friday, February 19th, and it will be available through Friday, February 26th. Please make sure you register for those electives and those classes you want to take, and make sure you pick those 2 alternate courses, because once this closes, we're going to start building schedules. What that means is classes are going to be filled. If you don't finish this registration by February 19th through February 26th, you could be locked out of courses you might want to take. So please stay on the ball. Make sure you finish the registration. Make sure you pick your electives. Make sure you have those alternate courses just in case you can't get into the first elective you want, so we could build your schedule, and next school year have the schedule that suits you, class you want to take, that builds towards your future career and college goals and builds on your interest. And like I said, if you have any questions, your teachers are by far the best resource you could have. They could walk you through, talk about the classes, talk about what you're recommended for, and also come down and talk to the guidance department, your counselor. You can come and talk to me, and we'll talk about the classes you could take and what options you have. And if you have any questions, like I said, you can talk to your counselor, you can talk to Mrs. Hetrick, Mr. Hurlbut, or Mrs. Tupaz as myself. If you have any questions after this, make sure you stop down. Feel free if I didn't cover anything, and have a great day.
So I appreciate you watching today's videos and hearing the different things that you need to know about your grade level, your course selection sheets, along the lines with how to do this inside of Infinite Campus. Please be mindful of the timelines that they shared with you, and be certain to do that by the time allotted. We have a lot of work to do on our end so that we can make sure that we start registering these classes and knowing what the master schedule could look like. And we'll be able to be certain of how that is scheduled, not only for your teachers, but also you have a good chance of understanding what life will look like for you as you transition into the summer months. I appreciate all that you do each and every single day. Be grateful and be you.